The movie opens with a group of Army Rangers receiving honorable discharges from the military. Among them is Sergeant Cameron Poe, a seasoned combat veteran. Returning home to his pregnant wife, Tricia, Poe visits the bar where she works. While there, they are harassed by a drunken customer. Tricia urges Poe to ignore the provocation, and he agrees. However, as they later walk to their car in the pouring rain, they are confronted again by the drunk and two accomplices. In defending himself and Tricia, Poe unintentionally kills one of the attackers. Later, Poe pleads guilty in court and is sentenced to 10 years in prison. During his incarceration, he keeps in touch with Tricia through frequent letters, expressing the pain he feels at missing the early years of their daughter's life. Over time, he also begins receiving letters from his growing daughter, who eventually starts first grade. Poe writes back to her faithfully, maintaining their bond. After serving 8 years, Poe is granted parole. He is scheduled for transport to Alabama aboard a Fairchild C-123 Provider aircraft, nicknamed the Jailbird, a prison transport plane. Traveling with him is his diabetic cellmate, Mike Baby Odell, who is also being moved to another facility. Meanwhile, a prison official briefs his team that the majority of inmates on this flight are being transferred to a maximum security prison and warns them that these are some of the most dangerous criminals alive. U.S. Marshal Vince Larkin is in charge of overseeing the flight and is approached by DEA agents Duncan Malloy and Willie Sims. Sims plans to go undercover aboard the Jailbird to gather crucial information from drug lord Francisco Cindino. Malloy stresses that this might be their final opportunity to extract valuable intelligence before Cindino is handed over to the FBI. Vince allows Sims onto the flight under strict conditions. He must surrender his firearm. Nevertheless, Malloy covertly returns the gun to Sims before he boards. As the prisoners are searched and loaded onto the plane, Vince reviews a roster of the inmates, which includes mass murderer Billy Bedlam Bedford, serial rapist Johnny 23 Baca, Black Gorilla family member Nathan Diamond Dog Jones, and criminal mastermind Cyrus the Virus Grissom. Once the Jailbird is airborne, a group of prisoners, including Cyrus, covertly removes hidden safety pins from under their skin to unlock their handcuffs. Shortly after takeoff, inmate Joe Pinball Parker sets another prisoner ablaze with smuggled kerosene, creating chaos. This act frees Johnny 23 and sparks a violent riot on the plane, resulting in multiple deaths among guards and prisoners. Pinball also releases Cyrus, who kills one of the pilots and forces the remaining pilot to falsely report that the flight is proceeding normally. With the prisoners now in control, Cyrus orders the crew and guards unshackled, including Poe. When Johnny 23 attempts to assault a female guard, Sally Bishop, Poe intervenes and beats him severely. Cyrus reveals the hijackers' plan. They intend to land at Carson Airport as scheduled, take on additional prisoners, and then fly to a country without an extradition treaty. Agent Sims blows his cover and tries to retake control of the plane by holding a prisoner at gunpoint. Poe tries to persuade Sims to surrender, but during the standoff, another prisoner distracts Sims. Sims kills the prisoner, but Cyrus promptly kills Sims and seizes his gun. Pinball alerts Cyrus that they lack enough white inmates to convincingly conduct the prisoner swap at Carson City. Volunteers are needed, and Poe steps up, hoping to find a chance to alert the authorities. Meanwhile, back at the California prison, guards searching the transported inmates' cells discover ominous evidence linked to the escape plan. Upon arriving at Carson City, Poe reconsiders escaping when he realizes the prisoners will be gagged during the transfer to prevent any shouts for help. As the prisoner exchange begins, guards unknowingly facilitate the swap as prisoners disguised as officers, and real guards, gagged and dressed as inmates, are loaded onto the plane. Among the new passengers are Francisco Cindino, pilot Earl Swamp Thing Williams, and infamous serial killer Garland Green. Simultaneously, authorities piece together the escape after finding detailed schematics of the plane hidden in Cyrus' cell. Back at Carson, guards find a tape recorder that Poe planted on one of the disguised prisoners, realizing the deception too late to stop the plane's departure. During takeoff, Pinball attempts to dispose of the plane's transponder by sneaking it onto another aircraft but is killed when he fails to reboard the Jailbird. Vince and Malloy track the wrong transponder, believing they are following the hijacked plane. Cyrus contacts Vince via radio, mocking him but refusing to reveal the plane's true destination. Meanwhile, Poe's wife and daughter are informed about the hijacking by a U.S. Marshal and are escorted to Vince's headquarters. Vince concludes that Poe could be an ally inside the hijacked plane. Malloy suggests shooting the plane down, arguing that with Sims dead, he now has authority. Despite Vince's objections, Malloy sets off in an attack helicopter. Vince tries to intercept, warning him against prematurely destroying the plane. The inmate's plan is to land at Lerner Airfield, a remote desert strip, and transfer onto a plane supplied by Cindino's cartel. On board, Poe finds Pinball's body trapped in the landing gear and writes a message to Vince on it before dropping the corpse from the sky. The body crashes onto a car below, causing chaos. In the meantime, Bedford grows suspicious of Poe, claiming he doesn't recognize him from the prison block. Poe deflects, saying with over 150 inmates, it's impossible to know everyone. As Vince learns about the fallen body, he realizes they've been chasing the wrong plane and rushes toward Lerner, alerting the National Guard. At the same time, Bedford discovers Poe's parole letter and the stuffed bunny Poe intended for his daughter, exposing Poe's true identity. Poe and Bedford fight, ending with Poe killing Bedford. Arriving at Lerner, Vince finds the control tower abandoned. The jailbird crash lands on the rough desert strip but finds no plane ready for transfer. Poe prevents the inmates from killing the remaining guards by convincing Cyrus they could still be valuable as hostages, citing Cindino's history of betrayal. Cyrus, heeding Poe's advice, orders preparations to refuel the plane. However, Johnny 23 spots the approaching National Guard convoy. Poe sneaks off to find insulin for Baby O but is captured by Cindino's men. Vince intervenes, and together, they foil Cindino's escape plan, destroying his hidden jet. Cyrus executes Cindino by igniting the spilled fuel from his sabotaged plane. Meanwhile, Garland Green encounters a little girl but surprisingly leaves her unharmed. As the National Guard arrives, the prisoners, now armed with stolen rifles and shotguns, ambush the soldiers, leading to heavy casualties. Poe, aided by a local man, retrieves a syringe from a fire truck and rushes back to Baby O. Using a bulldozer as a shield, Vince protects the surviving guards. Poe returns in time to save Sally from being assaulted again by Johnny 23, whom he knocks out in handcuffs. The surviving prisoners retreat onto the jailbird, managing to take off again. As the authorities find Bedford's body, Poe's secret is exposed. Cyrus threatens to execute Sally to uncover the traitor, but Baby O claims responsibility, prompting Cyrus to shoot him. During the chaos, Vince and Malloy attack the jailbird with helicopters, damaging its fuel tanks. Poe successfully overpowers several inmates and forces Earl to land the plane at McCarran International Airport. However, with one engine lost, they crash land along the Las Vegas Strip, causing massive destruction and killing several prisoners. Poe quickly ensures Baby O receives medical attention and is thanked by Sally for saving her life. Spotting Cyrus escaping with two others on a fire truck, Poe and Vince pursue them on police motorcycles. A wild chase follows, leading to numerous crashes. Poe climbs aboard the fire truck, fights Cyrus, and is soon joined by Vince, who uses a water hose to disable the truck, causing it to crash. Cyrus is thrown into a construction site where he meets his demise. In the aftermath, Vince and Malloy reconcile after Vince apologizes for the destruction of Malloy's car. Poe finally reunites with Tricia and meets his daughter for the first time,